The powers that be in this country have decided that we need a national vote on whether same-sex marriage should be legal or not. This is called a plebiscite. But how different is that to a referendum? You know, the other kind of national vote that we have that isn't an election. In Australian law, to change any part of the constitution, we have to have a national vote. This is called a referendum. So in order for a referendum to be successful, you need a majority of states to vote yes, and you need a majority of the population as a whole. This is called a double majority. The stats are pretty interesting. So Australia's had 44 referendums over our entire history since Federation. But only 8 have passed. That's 18%, my dudes. So what kind of stuff have we needed referendums on? For one, banks. Prime Minister Ben Chifley decided that after World War II, what we really needed was a national government-controlled bank. This failed. So instead, Ben Chifley made his own bank, the Commonwealth. But also, referendums are really expensive, like really expensive. How come so few of them are successful? Well, people can be pretty uncertain when the government wants to change something they don't know a lot about. And the less people know about something, the less likely they are to agree. This was the case with the 1999 referendum on becoming a republic, which was a referendum pushed through by mostly businessmen and politicians. Community-based issues, on the other hand, tend to be more successful. The classic example being the 1967 referendum to include Indigenous Australians in the census and in legal jurisdiction of the government. And you'd think governments would have gotten the hint. I mean, referendums are less and less common. Today, no one under the age of 35 has ever voted in a referendum. But if we take a vote on something that isn't in the Constitution, that's called a plebiscite. The government uses plebiscites when they want to survey the whole population, not just a sample. So for example, in World War I, conscription went to a plebiscite, but plebiscites aren't binding. And of the two that we have had, neither of them have passed. The same-sex marriage issue would have been a plebiscite because although the government has the right to make laws about marriage, the definition of marriage isn't in our constitution. Instead, we're having a national survey conducted by the Bureau of Statistics via post. The only difference between a plebiscite and this postal vote is that it's voluntary to participate in a postal vote. So why are we holding what's essentially a voluntary plebiscite on same-sex marriage? If not everyone votes, that defeats the purpose of having a national survey, doesn't it?